Hello, my name is Nick Diego, the lead developer of Blox. In this video, I'm going to do something a bit unconventional and make a live edit to the bloxwp.com website. So I was thinking today that I didn't really like how the headers on post pages were set up, and this is an example of a past post, and this is exactly what it currently looks like. So you have this header up here, and then we have our featured image, and then finally you start getting into the content. I didn't like how the header, the title was so disjointed from the text itself, and decided let's do a different header. And what I'm going to attempt to do is move our featured image to the top, move the title back into the body of the text, and also make once I move the featured image up, make the whole background the same color as the featured image. As you can see, my featured images all have a colored background and then a screenshot of what the tutorial is about. So again, this is going to be a live edit directly to the BloxWP website, and we'll see how it goes. So to begin with, this setup is actually created. This part here is a global block. This section here is an actual piece of the theme that I developed for this site. And the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to remove this section. And this has nothing to do with blocks, and I highly recommend you don't do this because I'm going to be live editing my functions file. So let's go into editor. So again, this is a pretty dangerous thing to do, but I feel pretty confident so that I know what I'm going to do. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to come down and we're going to delete all that custom titles. Save. We'll come back to the front end. Hopefully the site still loads. All right, there we go. So my theme for this website was built off of the Centric Pro theme built by StudioPress. So you'll notice that by default it looks very similar if you were to look at the Centric Pro default theme, where we now have the post title at the top and some metadata, and then we get into the content. So now the last thing that we need to deal with is this featured image, which is created by a global block. So let's remove that. Go back, actually we'll go to dashboard. Now the interesting thing about my website is that it's actually running Blox Lite. So this is actually the free version of Blox. It's very similar to Blox, but it's free, and it's available on the WordPress.org repository. Now the reason I'm not running Blox, well, there's actually no reason. I just haven't gotten around to it, and Blox Lite does everything I need. So I guess this isn't a good selling video for Blox, the full version. But again, if you want to try out Blox Lite, it does a good deal of what you may need it to do, and this site currently is running Blox Lite and not the full version of Blox. So the first thing we want to do is we have this global block that's adding those post featured image. What we're going to do is, instead of deleting it completely, I'm just going to disable it. So we'll go to position. Actually, this is funny. Blox Lite doesn't allow you to easily disable blocks. You have to completely delete them if you don't want them to appear. So if I had blocks, I could easily disable it, but since I'm running Blox Lite, I'm going to have to trash it. So we'll just do that. All right. And now you can see that we just have a standard post page once this loads with our title and our text. So now again, we want to add that featured image to the top, and we want to have a kind of a colored banner background. And what we're going to do is we're going to add a local block to do this, and I'll explain why in a minute. You may have seen one of my other tutorials where we add a background image using a global block, which automatically pulls in the featured image. There'll be a link to that separate tutorial in the description of this tutorial. Because it is very handy. Now the reason we're not going to use a global block in this case is because we're going to want to specify a background color for each header image, which is not something that you can do easily with a global block. So we'll do featured image header, and we're going to select static image. We're going to choose our featured image. It's fine, we'll leave everything else the same. For position, we want to do custom, and we'll do after header. And now for style, let's see what it looks like first, and then we will come back and add some style. All right, so now we have our featured image at the top. We have our title, and then we have our content, so we're halfway there. A couple things, it's the header nav bar is overlapping my image a bit, and we also don't have that colored background. So let's fix that real quick. So come back here, go into style. Now again, remember you always have to copy the block ID to make sure that our custom CSS isn't targeting something we don't want it to. So let's do margin top about 60 pixels. And then for background color, we'll do, and I do have this memorized, the color of the, oops, these are supposed to be 6s. Nope, they're supposed to be 7s. And that looks pretty good, so we'll update. Taking a second, and now we'll refresh. All right, and there we go. So now we have the featured image with a background color, and as we scroll down, we have the title of the post, and then we launch right into the content. So I think I like this a bit more than the previous look, because now you kind of see your featured image, and then you go right into the content. So now I'm going to need to update these for each other post that I've written. It sounds like a kind of a tedious task, but to create, so let's say you're creating a new post. If you're writing a new post, you'd have to add a local content block, set this to featured image, set the position, set the style. But it's really only like a few lines of style, and that's it. Again, the reason why we can't add a global block, we could add a global block, and it would very easily add our custom image, or sorry, featured image. But in this specific case, I wanted to match the background color to my featured image, and my different posts have different colors. So if I was to set a global block, I'd have to set basically a background color that would be applied to every post. And so that's why I'm going the route of a local block. But you could do this with a global block, and you could set it and kind of forget it because it would automatically pull in the featured image. But again, I have another tutorial on how to do it with a global block, and I'll include that in the details if that's the route you want to go. All right, so that was a look at making a live change to bloxwp.com. And if you go to bloxwp.com and navigate to the how to add a custom author box post, you will see just what we just did. Thanks for watching. More tutorials to come. And if you want to see ones that I've already written, head on over to bloxwp.com and click on tutorials.